You didn't see anything, but I saw everything. 8:30 p.m. A sprawling Korean mansion in Seoul's Sungbuk-dong neighborhood. The Hanseung Group's annual charity night gleamed with diamonds and designer labels, but standing alone was a woman who didn't fit. 27 years old, voluminous afro hair, black evening gown, glasses with just enough prescription to seem humble. On the surface, a quiet engineer. But her eyes told a different story, scanning the entire ballroom with the precision of someone cataloging a crime scene. Oh my, inviting such a diverse crowd. CEO Kang-Jun's really committed to inclusion these days, isn't he? Park had found her target. Her gaze traveled down Jasmine's body, assessing skin tone, hair texture, dress quality. All in one surgical moment. It's lovely, really wonderful. The word wonderful was a knife wrapped in silk. The moment Park's smile faded, the women around her exchanged glances. A silent pact formed instantly, whispering, "Who is she anyway? Single mother. I heard she's black, she doesn't belong here." The cruelty came in waves. Park didn't need to throw the next punch, she'd already lit the fire and stepped back, watching it burn. "Mom, what are those ladies saying about you?" "They're just laughing, baby. They forgot something important, who they actually are." Jasmine held her 7-year-old close. Her afro wrapped around his face like a shield. But her eyes caught something, her smartwatch reading his heart rate. 92 BPM. Fear. It's okay. This is just a test. The real thing hasn't come yet. The micro camera hidden in her glasses frame captured Park's wrist in perfect clarity. A lunar diamond watch. $500,000 minimum. Purchased within the last week. But according to corporate records, Park's husband hadn't authorized a single personal asset transaction in 3 months. The money had moved somewhere else first. Big money. Really big money. Her smartwatch vibrated. A blue code flashed across the screen. Hanseung Group headquarters. Unauthorized server access detected. The IP address traced to Hong Kong. Leviathan protocol. It's starting. Malik, we're leaving. Right now. She lifted her son gently. His small arms wrapped around her neck. For that moment, she was only a mother. But the next second, something shifted. Her shoulders set differently. Her jaw tightened. The engineer vanished. The tactician emerged. In the Eastern Lounge, VP Choi was bent over his phone with 3 associates. Their faces were flushed crimson with barely contained excitement. Yes, exactly. At midnight tonight, the 350 billion transfers from Kang-Jun's shell account to overseas accounts. He becomes a federal embezzler. Ministry of Defense AI development funds, stolen by the CEO himself. Prison by breakfast, $350 billion. The entire government defense budget for AI technology. One elegant crime: destroy your rival and steal from the nation simultaneously. Leaving so soon, Jasmine? He appeared like he'd been waiting. 6'2", tailored Italian suit, black hair slicked back with precision. CEO Kang-Jun. When he looked at Jasmine, though, something shifted. A moment of warmth broke through his icy eyes. "Malik's tired, and I think you're about to have some problems." "What does she know?" He held her gaze. In that moment, Kang-Jun understood something fundamental. This woman wasn't who she appeared to be. Those eyes filled with warning and knowing belonged to someone who'd seen actual combat. "Call your security team right now. Choi and whoever's backing him are about to destroy you." "I'm sorry, what?" $350 billion. It's disappearing from your account tonight at midnight. When it does, you become a federal criminal. Then who is this woman? Why would she warn me? Who I am doesn't matter right now. What matters is what you need and what I can do. That single sentence told Kang-Jun everything. This wasn't just a warning. This was negotiation. Jasmine moved toward the back exit with calculated precision. Every step avoiding security cameras. Every angle already mapped. She didn't disappear, she evaporated, leaving Kang-Jun alone in enemy territory. The party continued around him. Violins, champagne, but Kang-Jun wasn't hearing music. He was hearing a countdown. 350 billion. Defense technology. Choi. And that woman. It's all connected. His phone rang. CEO. Critical situation. Unauthorized server access. Military-grade encryption detected. Lock down every system. Now. Get the security team to my office. We're under attack. Kang-Jun's expression changed. The CEO disappeared. A predator stood in his place. Underground level 3. Gangnam. Jasmine laid Malik down gently. He was already deep asleep, exhausted from the party, from tension, from sensing his mother's fear. She took off her glasses. Everything changed. The quiet engineer vanished. What remained was harder, colder. Cipher. She'd been asleep for 8 years. But someone had opened that door. 8 years. I thought Cipher was dead. But you just proved me wrong. Time to wake her up again. She pulled out the hidden drawer beneath the bed. Inside 5 forged passports from 5 countries. Cash in multiple currencies. Credit cards registered to aliases. This wasn't a bedroom. This was a go bag. Insurance for when the world caught up. Always have a plan B. First rule the NSA teaches you. She booted up her laptop. The screen filled with a complete map of Hanseung Group's internal architecture. Every server, every password, every backdoor already installed months ago, waiting like a sleeper agent for her to activate them. This woman hadn't been watching from the sidelines. She'd been living inside their systems. Kang-Jun, your entire company was already in my hands. 11 p.m. Underground level 3. Jasmine turned on the lights to her hidden operations center. Concrete walls, soundproofing, dozens of monitors casting blue light like something from a spy thriller. She booted up multiple laptops simultaneously. Screens bloomed to life. Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. Everything's ready. Hanseung's internal network. VP Choi's complete transaction records. 6 months of recorded phone conversations. Everything appeared before her. On one of the smaller screens, she saw a live feed of Malik, sleeping peacefully in his bed. He didn't share her skin tone or her blood. 7 years ago, during a brutal NSA mission in Eastern Europe, she had pulled this white infant from the rubble of a collapsed safe house. Instead of turning him over to the government, Cipher chose to become his mother. She erased her own past and adopted him. She opened a folder labeled Leviathan Full Architecture. Zip, 3.2 gigabytes. All of it, every plan, every scheme. The complete blueprint of how they were going to destroy Kang-Jun and steal government AI technology. Choi, you're moving blind. I already know everything. 5 monitors suddenly shifted. The Hanseung firewall was under attack. Choi's people had hired external hackers to break in. Cute, a little theater. Her fingers danced across the holographic keyboard floating above her desk. As her fingers moved through the virtual interface, the attacker's code began to unravel. She was already inside their systems deeper than they knew. She'd already planted her own backdoors. She was watching them try to break in while recording everything. I'll block your attack. I'll collect evidence. I'll destroy you. You won't even know I was there. Her fingers stopped. One monitor went black. Alarm. Someone had detected her tracking. Interesting. Looks like you know how to fight too. Meanwhile, 60 stories above. CEO's office. Kang-Jun stood alone in complete darkness. In one hand a Bokken, a wooden training sword. This was no decoration. This was the weapon of a Kumdo 5 Dan master. Jasmine's warning has to be real. Tonight isn't about being prepared. It's about them not knowing what I actually am. His breathing deepened. The foundational stance of Kumdo Chuden Coe. Blade low, mind empty, spirit present. The Bokken cut through empty air. We precise, controlled. This wasn't exercise. This was preparation for combat. Come on then, I'm ready. His final strike came down with a shout. Ta! The Bokken descended like someone who'd spent 20 years perfecting controlled violence. And at that exact moment, the lights died. Complete blackout. Ropes descended outside the windows. 5 of them, already surrounded. They had help. The floor-to-ceiling windows exploded inward. Glass shattered like ice. From that darkness emerged 5 figures in tactical gear. Night vision goggles. Professional weapons. Mercenaries. CEO Kang-Jun, don't resist. We can make this easy. The lead mercenary held up a tranquilizer gun. Not lethal, just anesthetic. Kang-Jun would go quietly, disappear somewhere remote. Clean, professional, final. They're going to make it look like I stole the money and ran. Kang-Jun lowered his Bokken. Surrender. His eyes gleamed in the darkness, but the mercenaries couldn't see it. If Jasmine hadn't warned me, I wouldn't have known. Thank you. He moved deliberately, slowly, precisely. His foot came down on a specific part of the floor. Beneath his shoe, an emergency signal device. The moment his foot pressed down, the entire building flashed emergency lights. Half a second. That was all he needed. He exploded from darkness into light, Bokken raised and ready. Darkness isn't my element. I need light. I need to see. The mercenaries froze. They expected surrender. Instead, they got a 5 Dan swordsman in full battle mode. I'm Kumdo 5 Dan certified. I'm about to show you what that actually means. His voice was ice cold. This wasn't a CEO anymore. This was a warrior. The lead mercenary fired. The tranquilizer dart came at lethal speed. Kang-Jun didn't dodge. He batted it out of the air with the Bokken. The dart spun sideways and embedded itself in the wall. Better than expected, but predictable. If I can predict it, I can block it. The Bokken rose again. Now this wasn't warm-up. This was combat. 3 levels below ground. All of Jasmine's monitors caught a single signal: Kang-Jun's emergency alert. The tracker she'd pre-installed. Someone was coming to kill him. And she was the only one who could stop it. Time's up. She checked on Malik. Still asleep. Still safe. Then she looked at herself in the mirror, glasses free. Cipher. The codename for someone the NSA had trained to be a weapon. You're not doing this alone, Kang-Jun. I'm coming. She changed into tactical gear, black, form-fitting, built for movement and violence. Underneath her arsenal, forearm blade, poison darts, electronic taser. 8 years of sleep over. You are not alone. I'm right behind you. She opened the window, 60 stories above Seoul, and then she jumped, harness attached, descending into the night sky like an avenging angel. The descent was perfect, silent, precise. A woman trained by the most sophisticated intelligence agency on Earth, coming down like justice from the heavens. Kang-Jun's Bokken cut through the air. The first mercenary came at him with a blade. Kang-Jun met him in middle stance with a devastating coat strike to the wrist. The mercenary's grip failed. The knife fell. Drop the weapon, lose your life. That's the equation. He pivoted, sidestepped the second mercenary's lunge. The blade meant for his shoulder missed by millimeters. Kang-Jun turned and slashed sideways. The Bokken whipped through empty air like water finding a path. The mercenary rolled away. Almost wasn't good enough. If I'm 5 Dan, this should be manageable. His swordwork was faster than they'd anticipated. The third mercenary attacked from the side. Kang-Jun raised the Bokken horizontally. Impact. Metal sang against wood, a harsh, violent chord. But 3 is my limit. If they all come at once. The remaining 2 mercenaries completed the circle. Kang-Jun was surrounded, all of them closing in. This is it. Kang-Jun lowered his Bokken. Surrender. And then, the windows detonated. Glass exploded inward in 1,000 glittering fragments. A shadow dropped from 60 stories up, harness attached, moving with lethal precision. Jasmine. She landed in perfect Taekwondo stance, feet shoulder width apart, body centered, ready for combat. Plans changed. Without breaking momentum, she executed a devastating yop chagi side kick. Her body rotated, her heel came up to head height with 5 Dan precision. The first mercenary's wrist shattered. His gun flew across the room. Yop chagi. Perfect execution. 1 down. She landed, immediately pivoting. Her body flowed like water. Without hesitation, she launched into a narrator chagi spinning back kick. Her entire body rotated 360 degrees, her heel driving backward with devastating power. The second mercenary was still reacting to her first strike. He had no time to defend. Her heel connected with his sternum, a textbook Taekwondo strike that sent him flying backward into the wall. The wind knocked completely out of his lungs. Kang-Jun watched her move. In that moment, he understood something fundamental. This woman was not what she pretended to be. She was a weapon, a trained operative, a Taekwondo master. What is she? Who is she? He didn't hesitate. He attacked the remaining mercenaries in front of him. The Bokken moved again. Fast, accurate, lethal. His strike came down on the mercenary's helmet, a controlled downward men strike with precision. The helmet dented inward. The mercenary crumpled. She's not just fighting. She's executing textbook Taekwondo forms. His movements accelerated. Having Jasmine there fighting beside him gave him permission to fight harder. Jasmine landed, barefoot. She'd kicked off her shoes mid-combat. No distractions, no obstacles. Now it was just her, 2 remaining mercenaries, and the knowledge that she'd trained for exactly this scenario. Taekwondo 5 Dan, but also NSA tactical training. There's a difference. The first mercenary came at her with a blade. Controlled, professional, but she moved like water, letting the knife pass so close it cut a strand of her hair. In that same motion, she executed a bandal chagi crescent kick. Her leg came up in a perfect arc, heel turning at the last moment to strike his temple with surgical precision. The mercenary staggered backward, vision blurring. Bandal chagi, perfectly placed. She didn't wait for him to recover. Before he could steady himself, she launched into a D-wit chagi back kick. She turned her hips, extended her leg backward with explosive power. Her heel connected with his solar plexus. He went down hard, gasping for air, unable to continue fighting. D-wit chagi, text perfect. 1 mercenary remained. He was different, trained, dangerous, reading her movements with professional precision. The last mercenary moved systematically. Trained, special forces. He approached slowly, blade held at ready, eyes locked on Jasmine's. He recognized what she was. Trained, like him, but different. Jasmine executed a perfect chagi Yonrian combination kick sequence. First, a low yop chagi to his leg, testing his defense. He blocked it. She immediately transitioned into a high narrator chagi. He ducked, but that was the point. Her low kick was the setup. Her spinning kick was the execution. While he was committed to ducking, she was already rotating. Combination kicks. That's what separates 5 Dan from everyone else. The mercenary saw it coming but couldn't react fast enough. Her spinning kick caught his shoulder. Not lethal, but enough to throw him off balance. "You're NSA?" Understanding flashed across his face. "Yeah, and you?" That's when Kang-Jun moved. He didn't think. He didn't hesitate. He positioned himself beside Jasmine. Their backs pressed together. 2 fighters becoming 1 unit. "You can lower the blade. My side is completely covered." "Got it. I'll handle the front." Something perfect happened. A man and a woman. Kumdo and Taekwondo. Eastern martial arts combining into something neither could do alone. The mercenary lunged at Kang-Jun. Kang-Jun blocked with the Bokken. Cack. Impact echoed through the office. While the mercenary was committed to that strike, Jasmine executed a perfect yop chagi sidekick at maximum power. Her entire body weight was behind it. Timing. It's always about timing. Kumdo and Taekwondo were synchronized. The mercenary pivoted away from her strike, but that movement created an opening. Kang-Jun slashed at his ribs with surgical precision. The Bokken sang through the air. The mercenary recoiled, but Kang-Jun was already reset, already centered. And at that moment, Jasmine was in motion again. She executed a perfect narrator chagi spinning back kick. Her entire body rotated. Her heel came around with devastating velocity, moving at lethal speed. "Because you're here, I can attack without defense. You've got my back." This is Taekwondo at 5 Dan level. The mercenary was falling backward. He tried to recover. Kang-Jun raised the Bokken for a finishing strike. But Jasmine was already moving. She didn't wait. "This man is strong. Really strong. But we're stronger together." She executed a final bandal chagi crescent kick. Her leg came up in a perfect arc, her heel turning at the final moment to catch the mercenary's jaw with total precision. Scientific, brutal, effective. He dropped, unconscious, defeated. Silence. 5 mercenaries, all down. Kang-Jun and Jasmine stood surrounded by bodies, both breathing hard, standing back to back with perfect synchronization. Something had shifted between them. They'd just become something greater than their individual parts. Who are you really? That's classified, but you need to survive first. After that, we can talk. In that moment, they turned to face each other. Blood and sweat, a destroyed office, but in their eyes, recognition, respect, something transcending mere survival. This woman, she came to save me. And her martial arts, they're beyond anything I've ever seen. Kang-Jun, you're stronger than I expected. That's why I need you. Kang-Jun's phone rang. Jasmine's number, but she was standing right in front of him. In 2 hours, Choi's entire operation reaches the police. You need to leave this building and gather all the evidence I've collected. And you? The war isn't over yet. She moved toward the window. The harness was still waiting outside. She had to leave, but Kang-Jun caught her hand. Your name, what is it? Jasmine. Just Jasmine. And with that, she was gone. Out the window, into the Seoul night sky, descending into darkness. Kang-Jun watched her disappear. And he knew, in that moment, that this woman would change his entire life. The office was silent, bodies everywhere, blood on the marble floor. But all Kang-Jun could think about was one thing: the touch of her hand as she slipped away into the darkness. And the certainty that he would see her again. That they would finish what they'd started. 12:45 a.m. A rundown office building near Gangnam Station. Jasmine faced off against the remaining mercenary commander. This man was a different animal entirely. Former special forces, and possibly, someone from her past. Cipher, you just keep coming back, don't you? You know who I am. Jasmine's expression shifted. She recognized him. A ghost from a previous life, maybe. Before Malik, before hiding, the mercenary lowered his blade. He was done fighting. His face carried the exhaustion of someone meeting an old friend they'd hoped never to see again. You're going after Choi? Yeah, and if you're not on his side, help me. He laughed, a real laugh, the kind belonging to NSA training days. 30 minutes later, an underground parking garage. Jasmine and the mercenary, now her ally, stood before a heavy steel door. Behind it, Choi's secret server room. The nerve center of his entire operation. Everything's in there, all the records. And your evidence too. My evidence? Files Choi collected. Your NSA history. Everything from 8 years ago. Without those files, you could have stayed dead forever. Jasmine opened the door. Climate controlled. Dozens of servers. At the center, the master computer, the brain of this entire criminal enterprise. Choi, you were too confident. You kept everything in one place. That's going to destroy you. She pulled out a portable hard drive carried with her for nearly a decade, waiting for this moment. She connected it to the master system. The hack began. Code streamed across multiple screens. Jasmine's fingers moved across the holographic keyboard like a concert pianist, except instead of music, she was conducting Choi's downfall. $350 billion. Defense AI technology. PMC contracts. Orders to murder Kang-Jun. It's all here. Every transaction. Every conspiracy. Every crime meticulously documented and waiting to be exposed. The file list appeared. Over 100 transaction records. Recorded phone conversations. And they're her own file. 8 years of NSA records. Everything they'd tried to erase. The reason I disappeared. It's all right here. She copied everything. Simultaneously, she executed a program that would auto-transmit all evidence to the prosecutor's office and the Seoul Metropolitan Police. The evidence was no longer hers. It belonged to the state. Her phone rang. Kang-Jun, are you okay? Yeah, it's done. You're safe now. Are you? Are you safe? Something in that question, the genuine concern, made her feel something she hadn't felt in years. I have my own path. Different from yours. The call ended. The mercenary was already leaving. His role was finished. His debt to his former agency, paid. I've got places to go. But you stay with him. You deserve that. Jasmine exited the server room. The moment she did, sirens erupted throughout the entire garage. Police, coming to arrest Choi, bringing him to justice. Now, everything starts now. The moment of transformation had arrived. From Cipher to something new. From shadow to light. 4 a.m. Kang-Jun stood alone on Hanseung Tower's rooftop, overlooking Seoul's nighttime landscape. In his hand a single USB drive, all the evidence Jasmine had left for him. Everything that would save his life. Who are you? Why did you do all this? The city below was still asleep. But above, on this rooftop, everything was about to change. A hand touched his shoulder. Jasmine. She appeared like a ghost materializing from shadow. For you, and for my son, Malik. He's 7. Before I could move forward, I needed someone to be his father. I thought, you could be that person. Malik, my son, biologically just mine, but he's going to need a man in his life. Someone strong, someone I can trust. I think that's you. Kang-Jun looked at her. and everything became crystal clear. This wasn't about attraction yet. This was about trust. This was about survival and sacrifice and the kind of respect that only forms when two warriors recognize each other's strength. Then we do this together. The three of us. Yeah, together. They stood there, on top of Seoul, as the city began to wake. One swordsman, one operative, both about to change their lives. Jasmine found his hand, her fingers intertwined with his, not heavy yet, not bound by obligation, but certain. Steady, with you, Kang-Jun. I think I can actually live again. Jasmine, because you existed, I survived. The Seoul sky was brightening. Night was ending, morning was beginning, and their lives, all three of them, were about to start completely fresh. 10 a.m. Hanseung Group headquarters, the boardroom where Korea's entire economic power converged. Choi and his allies had called an emergency session. They were about to vote Kang-Jun out. They were about to claim the company for themselves. All in favor of CEO Kang-Jun's immediate dismissal. Vote yes. Hands rose. Most of the board members voted. Choi's plan was nearly complete. In minutes, Hanseung would belong to him. The boardroom doors opened. Kang-Jun entered, but he wasn't alone. A woman stood beside him. Black silk suit tailored to perfection. Voluminous Afro hair that looked like a crown. Confidence radiating from every inch of her presence. Jasmine. She'd transformed into something almost regal. The room's temperature dropped. Something different was happening. Something unexpected. Kang-Jun, you can't be here. Actually, I have an important announcement to make. He took Jasmine's hand, the hand that had saved his life. This woman is Hanseung Group's new chief security officer. And she's my wife. The moment those words left his mouth, chaos erupted. Wife? This woman? Who was she? How did an outsider, especially someone who looked so different, become the wife of a Korean chaebol? It violated every unwritten rule of their world. Hello, everyone. I'll be overseeing all security operations for Hanseung Group. And I have some information to share with you today. Jasmine raised her tablet. She touched the screen. Every monitor in the boardroom flickered to life simultaneously. What appeared on those screens was Choi's entire criminal operation. Records, contracts, PMC agreements, orders to murder, plans to steal 350 billion in government funds. All of it, every crime, every betrayal. This is fabricated. These are fake documents. Jasmine touched the tablet again. Every board member's cell phone rang simultaneously. Alerts from the prosecutor's office. Notifications from the Seoul Metropolitan Police. Emergency investigation initiated. This evidence has already been delivered to both the police and the prosecutor's office. Everyone can verify it themselves. The room froze. There was no way out of this. No escape. No second chances. Choi stood up. His face was ash gray. He watched decades of power carefully built, ruthlessly maintained collapse in minutes. Kang-Jun, you're insane. No, I just made the right decision. And I had help from her. Police entered the boardroom, arrest warrant in hand. Handcuffs went on Choi's wrists. As Choi was dragged away, the other board members stood. They were complicit too. Some tried to run, but police had already sealed every exit. Kang-Jun watched it all in silence. His expression wasn't one of triumph or revenge. It was just resolution. Justice had finally arrived. Once the boardroom was cleared and the criminals removed, Kang-Jun approached the head of the table. The chair, the seat of power that Korean CEOs had occupied for decades. He pulled it back deliberately. This chair, it belongs to someone else now. Kang-Jun guided Jasmine to that seat. And she sat down. Jasmine's afro touched the high back of the executive chair. In that moment, she stopped being a quiet engineer. She became a queen. My first executive order: full transparency. All accounts, all transactions, and every single employee of Hanseung Group gets fair wages and proper treatment. The boardroom erupted in quiet applause. Not angry, not forced, genuine applause from people who'd been waiting for real change. Kang-Jun took his position behind Jasmine. Not beside her, behind her, supporting her, like a warrior standing guard behind his queen. Moving forward, Hanseung Group operates under the leadership of this woman. And I'm committed to supporting every decision she makes. That single statement said everything. This was a transfer of power. Real power. Complete power. 5 p.m. Hanseung Tower's rooftop terrace. The sun was setting, painting Seoul's sky in shades of orange and gold. Jasmine and Kong Jan stood there together, hands interlaced. Did you ever think this was possible? No, I didn't even know you existed until a few days ago. Kang-Jun lifted her hand. He brought it to his lips and kissed her palm, not romantic yet, but something deeper. Respect, gratitude, trust. The terrace door opened. A 7-year-old ran out, Malik. In his hand a Lego drone he'd built. His face was pure joy. Mom, Dad, look, I made a flying drone. Jasmine and Kang-Jun embraced him. 3 different hairlines, 3 different backgrounds, but in that moment, they were a family. Wow, Malik, you're so smart. That's because of your genes, right? The 3 of them stood there as the sun descended below Seoul's skyline. The highest point in the city. A woman who'd become a queen. A warrior who'd become a guardian. And a child who'd brought them together. Jasmine replaced her glasses. Even now, she had 2 identities. By day the Queen of Hanseung. By night Cipher. But both versions of her were dedicated to protecting the man beside her and the child she loved more than anything. 8 years. It's been a long journey. But now, I'm finally home. Really home. Jasmine. Because you were here, my life began. My mom is awesome. My dad is awesome. Our family is the best. And so the striking queen, a story of power, redemption, and the kind of love that builds kingdoms, came to its end. A velvet thorn became a queen. A warrior found his partner. And a child found his family. High above Seoul, in that moment, in that place, there was only light. Educational epilogue. Before we close, let's talk about what Jasmine and Kang-Jun's story actually means. This isn't just a thriller about power and revenge. This is a story about identity, trust, and what it means to build something real in a world built on deception. The power of invisibility. Jasmine's entire advantage came from being underestimated. At the charity ball, people saw her Afro hair and made instant assumptions. They saw a single mother and marked her as less than. They saw a quiet engineer and dismissed her completely. But that invisibility? That was her superpower. In a world that judges you before you speak, the greatest advantage is letting people underestimate you. The most dangerous people in any room are usually the ones everyone overlooked. This matters in real life. In business, in relationships, in life, people who succeed often do so because they were invisible to the people who could have stopped them. Trust without weakness. Notice something important. Kang-Jun didn't trust Jasmine because he was weak or needed her rescue. He respected her strength so much that trusting her made him stronger, not weaker. In traditional stories, the hero either stands alone or becomes dependent on their rescuer. Kang-Jun did neither. He met her as an equal. He accepted her help while maintaining his own power. That's what real partnership looks like: 2 strong people choosing to be stronger together. The difference between power and authority. When Jasmine took the CEO chair, she didn't just want control, she wanted accountability. She immediately promised transparency, fair wages, and employee protection. She didn't become a dictator. She became a leader. There's a massive difference. Real leaders serve before they command. This is something that corrupts most people in positions of power. They confuse authority with entitlement. Jasmine understood power without service is just tyranny with better PR. Broken people can build families. Jasmine was a weapon. Kang-Jun was hunted. Neither came from stable backgrounds. Neither was normal, but they built something real together. They didn't wait for perfection. They didn't demand that the other person be whole. They looked at each other's scars and said, "We can do this." That's what real love is, not finding someone perfect, but finding someone willing to heal beside you. The price of survival. One last thing. Jasmine sacrificed her entire past, her identity, her career, 8 years of her life to disappear. She did it to protect Malik. In our modern world, we're obsessed with having it all: the career, the fame, the success, the family. But sometimes real strength is knowing what to walk away from. Sometimes victory means choosing what matters most and letting go of everything else. She chose a life over a legacy. That's a choice only the truly powerful can afford to make. Systematic deception requires systematic exposure. Choi's downfall wasn't about revenge. It was about accountability. Jasmine didn't destroy him for personal reasons, she exposed him because what he did was criminal. This teaches an important truth: corruption thrives in silence. It spreads in shadows. The only way to fight systematic crime is with systematic evidence. Documentation, witnesses, records. In our world of misinformation, the most powerful weapon is often just the truth, documented and delivered to authorities who can act on it. Jasmine understood: you don't fight power with violence. You fight it with evidence. Final message. The Striking Queen is a story about resilience, identity, and the possibility of transformation. It's about recognizing that the world judges people based on appearance and assumptions. It's about the danger of underestimating anyone. And most importantly, it's about understanding that healing and family and love are more powerful than any weapon, any corporation, any amount of revenge. Watch for the people you overlook. Trust the ones who've earned it. Build something real. And never forget, the most dangerous person in the room is usually the one nobody expected. Welcome to the story of Jasmine, Kang-Jun, and Malik. Their story ends where ours begins. Complete all 76 scenes. Taekwondo combat sequences detailed.
Every scene you watched was born from countless hours of love, imagination, and careful crafting. Thank you for walking this creative journey with us behind the scenes.